umaga sa inyong lahat. Ako pong muli si Pastor Bong, bumabati na isang mapagpalang Friday morning sa ating lahat. Today, we're gonna talk about the book of Songs of Solomon. Yes, what a very interesting book. What a very powerful book that speaks about more on relationship. Anong klaseng relationship? What kind of relationship? What does it represent? What is the meaning of this relationship that we're going to talk about today in our life? Anong ibig sabihin nito? No? Okay, tuloy na natin ito. Okay, the question for us is this before we go on to the main part. The question is this: does God have anything to say to us about love, about sex, and about intimacy? What do you think? Does God have anything to say to us about love, about sex, and intimacy? You know, for many people, sa maraming Kristiyano, for some of us, matagal ng Christian, nagbabasa tayo ng Bible. For some of us, for many people, the words romance in the Bible, sasabihin nila parang hindi appropriate eh. No? Kasi it is a holy book written by holy God for holy people. Kasi parang pag sinabi mong romance, parang may something, no? Parang hindi appropriate. Yes, for many people, those who really do not understand the book of Song of Solomon, which we're gonna discuss today, we're gonna learn today. Mga kapatid, especially religious people, they will create a long list of religious principle, yung tinatawag na thou shall not. When it comes to romance, when it comes to sex, when it comes to intimacy, ang pumapasok kaagad sa isip natin is thou shall not. Yes, maintindihan nyo. But again, I'll tell you, the Bible is a complete book and it talks about a lot of things. Not only talks about, but it covers the multitude of the world. It covers a lot of topics in the world. Lahat ng istorya ng buhay, lahat ng kwento ng buhay, every story, every part, every circumstance, every trials, and every period, comma, question mark of life, you will find the answer in the Bible. Kaya it is an amazing book. It is a holy book. It is a God-breathed book, mga kapatid. So, if we talk about love, sex, and intimacy, as I say, many religious people will, anong tawag doon? Will tataas ang kilay. No? They're gonna raise their eyebrows. Ano to? Bakit ganyan ang sinasabi mo? Anong ibig sabihin nito? But God never intended us, mga kapatid, to view love in a negative way. Tandaan nyo yan. And even when it comes to sex, He is the author of sex. That's true. Si Lord ang may akda niyan. Siya ang author niyan. Specially designed for married couple. Church, remember this. God created us in love and for love. And that's the reason why Jesus came. Because He loved us. And God the Father, because He loved us, He sent His only begotten Son. Church, the Bible has a great deal to say about romantic love. Yes, that's true. Yung romantic love. The Bible has a great message to tell us about what you call romantic love. In fact, it often uses pictures of human love to help us understand God's love for us. Okay, as one key example that what we are talking about right now, we need to consider the book of Song of Solomon. When it comes to romantic love, when it comes to intimacy, when it comes to sex, the book of Song of Solomon covers it, because the Song of Solomon is a beautiful love poem written by Solomon himself. Kaya pag binasa nyo yan, okay, tip ko lang sa inyo. Nakarinig na ba kayo ng mga sinaunang mga love letter? Have you ever heard about the old times, how they used to write love letters? No, example niyan yung susungkitin ko ang bituin. Yung mga ganon, di ba? Iaalay ko sa iyo ang araw, ang buwan. O di ba? May kanta pa nga, o ilaw sa gabing madilim. May mga ganon, no? It is a romantic poem. Kaya minsan, sabi ng mga generations ngayon, naku sinauuna na yan. Jologs na yan. Hindi na uso yung love letter. Ngayon, text na. Mabilis na ngayon. But the essence of romantic love through a romantic letters, through a romantic poem, started in the Bible. Hindi si Balagtas o kung sino man ang nagsimula ng romantic poem. Ibig sabihin, Bible pa rin nag-umpisa. Because the Song of Solomon is a story of a beautiful love. So it means Solomon was very inspired. Solomon was so in love, that's why he was able to create a beautiful poem that turns out to be one of the book in the Bible. The Song of Solomon overflows in a colorful analogy and Eastern illustration. Remember this, yung Eastern culture. So dito makikita natin, when we study the Song of Solomon word for word, it describes the romantic and the wedding of a shepherdess by King Solomon. Kung mababasa nyo dyan yung Shulamite women, yung kanyang napangasawa. And what we're going to read there, what you will expect to read in the book, in the Song of Solomon, is the joy, the thrills, the heartaches, and surprises of a wedded love, or a married love. Yan ang mababasa natin dyan. Because throughout the ages, I'll tell you this, scholars have also looked at the book of Song of Solomon through yung tinatawag na allegorical lens. Okay? That's the book of Song of Solomon, based on the Bible scholars, theologicals, they look at this as an allegorical lens in theology. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Para madaling maintindihan, the Song of Solomon, in view of the theologians and Bible scholars, it is a symbolic lens in their perspective. And that's true. Symbolical itong Song of Solomon. So when we considered it in this way, it pictures Israel as God's betrothed bride. Okay? Ang Israel yung asawa. You can look that in book of Hosea chapter 2 and chapter 20. I really have to research, to dig research before I make this outline. So symbolically, Israel is God's betrothed bride. Okay? And the church as the bride of Christ. In Ephesians chapter 5, makikita ninyo na tayo, church, we are the modern Israel, tayo yung bride ni Christ. And during their days, during that time in the kingdom of Solomon, the Israel is the bride of Christ. Symbolically, mga kapatid. And it will teach us that we find our highest fulfillment in the unconditional love of God. Ganda nito, mga kapatid. It will teach us that we can only define ourselves, or we can find our highest fulfillment. Lahat ng fulfillment natin, the highest fulfillment of our life can only be found in the unconditional love of God. Ang tawag doon, grace. That's the grace of God. Alam niyo ba kung bakit meron ka ng mga bagay na yan? It is because of His grace. Why are you able to worship God? Because of His grace. Why were you able to preach the gospel? Because of His grace. It is all by the grace of God. Okay, background tayo. No? Ready niyo yung ballpen nyo. The Hebrew title, ang Hebrew title ng Song of Solomon is Shir Hashirim. Okay? S-H-I-R, Shir, Hashirim. H-A-S-H-I-R-I-M. Okay? Saan galing yun? It comes from the book itself in chapter 1, verse 1, the Song of Songs. Yes, it is yung tinatawag na superlative or yung outstanding, yung pinakamataas na declaration. Okay? It is the outstanding form, declares it to be Solomon's most outstanding, amazing, excellent song. Alam niyo ba? Matututunan niyo mamaya kung sino pa si Solomon. Okay. So sa Hebrew, Shir Hashirim. Okay. A few weeks ago, natutunan natin that the Bible was translated into Latin. Okay. Ang Latin title naman ng Song of Solomon is Canticum Canticorum. Okay, yan ang Latin title niyan. Canticum Canticorum. Okay? Anong ibig sabihin nun? It also means Song of Songs or the best song. Okay, walang pinagkaiba yung kundi ganito. Halimbawa, puro kayo mga farmers, okay, or fishermen. Pag sinabi natin halimbawa si Brother Joel, okay, si Brother Joel, good morning kay Brother Joel Espanya. Ayan. Pag sinabi natin si Joel ay isang magsasaka, pero he is the best of the all magsasaka. He is best among the best. Same thing, yung Song of Solomon is, these are the compilation of the best songs of Solomon. Kaya sabing Song of Songs, awit ng mga awit. Ito yun. This is an outstanding compilation, an excellent compilation, the amazing best compilation of the songs of songs. So, the alternative name for the book is Canticles. C-A-N-T-I-C-L-E-S. Galing dun sa Latin title. Because Solomon is mentioned in chapter 1 verse 1, the book is also known as the Song of Solomon. So nagkaisa sila, ito na yun. Imbis na Song of Songs, imbis na ito ay the best song, okay. Let's conclude the title of this book, Song of Solomon. Okay, what we can learn? What are the learnings in the book of Solomon? Again, it is all by the grace of God, because many learnings, and one is the theme of the book of Song of Solomon is God demonstrates His grace to us through. Okay? Dito makikita naman natin, because in other book of the Bible, God also demonstrates His love to us through trials and challenges of life. God demonstrates His love to us through Exodus. We have been set free. God demonstrates His love to us through the pillar of clouds. God demonstrates His love to us through many battles in life. But in the Song of Solomon, God demonstrates His love to us through the joys of romantic love. Ibang klase, no? He demonstrates His love to us through romantic love, that He enables husband and wives to share. That human love can also serve as a picture of what? His divine love for us. Dito ipinapakita ng Song of Solomon yung pagmamahalan ng mag-asawa. The Song of Solomon illustrates how a husband love his wife, a wife love his husband as a significant love through that joy, romantic love that shows the love of God to us. It pictures His divine love for us. Yung pagmamahal na ibinibigay ng asawang lalaki sa kanyang asawang babae. At yung pag-submit ng asawang babae sa kanyang asawa. It pictures the divine love of God to us. In the future, I'll teach that in morning devotion, mga kapatid, no? Sino ang author ng Song of Solomon? Obviously, si Solomon. Kailan niya sinulat ito? Solomon ruled over Israel in the 10th century BC. Yes. Anong structure ng book? Okay, eto na. Okay? Bibigyan ko kayo ng napakagandang structure ng Song of Solomon. The book is arranged like a scene in a drama with three main characters. Okay. Para ka nanonood ng love story nito. Okay. Number one, you will find the first character is the bride. No, ito yung Shulamite women. Okay, the bride. Pangalawa, the groom. Sino yung groom? Si Solomon. Pangatlo, there are many translations in the Bible na makikita natin that represents the third party. Okay? Yung ibig sabihin yung third character. Third character. Mag-asawa may third party. Yung third character. Ito yung daughters of Jerusalem. Ito yung mga bridesmaid o kung sino man. But in a single word, okay? Though many translations, it refers as the chorus. Okay, the chorus. O sila yun, pinagsama-sama. Different terminologies lang sa iba-ibang translation. But obviously, there are three main characters in the Song of Solomon. The bride, which is the Shulamite, the groom, which is Solomon, and the chorus, which is the daughters of Jerusalem. Okay, ito na yon. So as you read the Song of Solomon, I want you to notice life principles that plays an important role in this book. Okay? Again, lagi niyo maririnig ito. Okay? I don't want to change the terminologies from time to time. So I stick up with this life principles. Number one, no Christian, no follower of Jesus Christ has ever been called to go alone in his or her walk in faith. If we are walking in faith, if we are walking with Jesus, if we are following with Jesus, you will never be alone. Because God did not and you will ever go alone if you walk in faith with Jesus. Kasi lagi kang may kasama. Okay? Pangalawa, the life lesson here is our intimacy with God should be our highest priority. Because it will determine the impact of our lives. Yung number one principle natin kanina, ang basis niyan is Solomon chapter 1 verse 4. Itong pangalawang life principle is Solomon chapter 2 verse 13. Okay? That's how I interpret it. That's how when I study it, mga kapatid. So yung intimacy natin kay Lord will determine the impact of our lives. Mas malapit ka kay Lord, syempre, mas madali kayo nakakapag-usap, madasa kayo nagwo-one-on-one, at makikita mo yung favor ni Lord sa buhay mo. Kasi lagi mo siyang kasama because you're intimate with Him. So, like his father, sino ba talaga si Solomon? Adding up to this, like his father, Solomon is also a musician and a songwriter. Wow! Amazing! Not only he is the wisest, he is the richest, he is also a musician and a songwriter because Solomon authored 1,005 songs. Saan nyo makikita? Balikan nyo yung 1 Kings chapter 4 verse 32. He authored 1,005 songs. And this one is preserved in the Bible, itong Song of Solomon, and the theme of this book is love. Yes, especially the love between a husband and a wife. Ito yung nire-reflect, sinisignify ng Song of Solomon. The love between a husband and wife. O kaya siguro maganda gawin nyo ganito. Suggestion ko lang ha. Sa mga mag-asawa dyan. Sa mga mag-aasawa, basahin nyo yan. Yung Song of Solomons. Binibigyan ko na kayo ng teaser. Ini-introduce ko na sa inyo ang Book of Solomon. So I want you to be excited, inspired, and encouraged to read the entire book. Alam niyo, maiksi lang yan. Hanggang 8 chapter lang ang Song of Solomon's. No? And this book was preserved, and the theme is love. Okay? So, though it is not overly straightforward in a literal way, kasi, it is a poem. Okay? So, medyo mapapaisip ka. But I suggest, because when I read the Song of Solomon, okay, just for me to understand it clearly, alam niyo ginawa ko, binasa ko yung Tagalog translation. And then, hindi ko pa rin maintindihan. Balik pa rin ako sa English. I think it took me like 7 times to read back and forth English Tagalog before I understood everything. And it is really very, very powerful. So, hindi siya straightforward kasi there are many terms, there are many words that it is really very hard to understand. But I'll tell you this, the Song of Solomon uses a figure of speech to describe what? The holiness of marriage. That's true. That is what I have noticed and what I have learned. It uses a figures of speech, yung poem na yan, to describe the holiness of marriage. Yung pagmamahalan ng mag-asawa. Because in the story, mga kapatid, King Solomon traveled from Jerusalem. Okay? Nagmula siya sa Jerusalem. Obviously, kasi nadoon yung Solomon's Temple. He traveled from Jerusalem to the areas up north near Nazareth. And there, he saw the Shulamite woman, and he fell in love with her. So, na-in love. So, he wrote this poem about their courtship and their marriage. Sinulat niya kung paano siya nanligaw, paano niya niligawan yung Shulamite woman, up to the point na pinakasalan niya na. Yes, that's true. And the story is told by various characters. Different characters ang nag-relay ng story. About the bride, nagbigay din ng statement yung bride, nagbigay ng statement si groom. Kaya pag binasa niyo yan sa Tagalog, para kayo nagbabasa ng yung mga nag-uusap. Okay? Try nyo basahin sa Tagalog. Yung part ng babae, nagsasalita yung babae. Lalaki, magsasalita yung lalaki. And then yung chorus, magsasalita yung mga tao na yun. So, papapansin niyo from chapter 1 to chapter 8, if you read your Tagalog Bible, or even if you read your English Bible, in King James Version, walang partition yan. Okay? But I always use New King James Version where you will see, okay, female, male, okay, woman, man, and then the chorus, which is the daughters of Jerusalem, mapapansin niyo yung conversation. So, the contributor is 3 person, okay? Si bride, si groom, at saka yung chorus. It shows us that God designed marriage to be joyful. Yes, God designed marriage to be joyful. Kung katabi mo yung asawa mo ngayon, sabihin mo, basahin na natin mamaya, umpisahan na natin ang Song of Solomon. Because God created marriage to be joyful. Hindi kinreate ni Lord ang marriage para mag-away ang mag-asawa. Hindi kinreate ni Lord ang marriage para magsisihan or to blame one another. God did not create marriage to be a suffering to a person. Because many people, they hate marriage. They do not believe in marriage. I'll tell you this, read the Bible. God created, designed marriage for you to be joyful, even if we ourselves are imperfect. Tandaan nyo ito. You want to die to yourself? Get married. That's the first thing, that you die to yourself. Many couples, many singles, ang iniisip nila ganito. Ang pag-aasawa is expecting something that will fill the gap of their life. Akala nila, pag sila'y nag-asawa, yung kakulangan ng buhay nila ang magpupuno yung asawa. Mali. Marriage is all about loving and not expecting something in return. That's true. You are giving yourself. You love your wife. You love your husband. Because that's the command from the Bible. That's the command of the Lord. So makikita natin, both people are imperfect, but because of the grace of God, we can enjoy marriage. That's true. Kaya nga sabi ng Bible, do not conform to the pattern of this world. Kasi itong mundo natin, if I don't trust you anymore, let's divorce. If I don't love you anymore, if things are not working out anymore, let's go separate ways. You read the Bible first. You read the Bible first, mga kapatid. Because you are an imperfect person. She is imperfect. Nobody's perfect. Only Jesus is perfect. So moving forward, in this song, okay, in the book of Songs of Solomon, the couple had a serious misunderstanding. Okay? Meron na silang pag-aaway dito. Saan natin makikita? The Song of Solomon, chapter 5 and chapter 6. But what did they do? They work it out. They work through it and they resolve and let love prevail. Hindi ba ganun din sa mag-asawa? Nag-aaway, may misunderstanding, but at the end, love prevails pa rin. So, the writer, obviously the author, which is Solomon, he uses many pictures from nature, including the verse, including chapter 2 in verse 15. Okay, I will just emphasize this. In chapter 2 verse 15, sabi niya dito, catch us the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes. Pag binasa mo ito, ano ibig sabihin nito? He uses the nature, he uses the fox, the animals, and he uses the vine, the grapes. Okay, ito yan. Okay, sa mag-asawa or our relationship with Jesus Christ. Bibigyan ko kayo, ha? Okay. Our relationships are threatened by little things. Ano yung little things? Ito yung little foxes. Yung relationship ng inyong mag-asawa, yung relationship mo sa Panginoon, we are all threatened by the little things. These little foxes, they play in the vineyard. At anong ginagawa ng foxes? Do you think they are just jumping and protecting the vines? No. They will ruin the tender vines and immature grapes. While the little foxes are horseplaying around in the vines, yung maliliit na bunga, yung mga immature grapes, yung mga tender vines, yung mga bagong sibol na mga sanga, sinisira yan ng little foxes. Yes, kasi naglalaro sila, they are not aware that they are destroying the vines. It's not just major issues that damage a relationship. Have you ever wondered of this? Hindi ba ninyo napansin minsan sa mag-asawa? Simpleng bagay lang, pinag-aawayan. Yung simpleng bagay lang, lumaki na. It's just a simple matter, but what happened is, it lasted for a week. It lasted for a month. Have you ever thought of it? Marami tayong mga experiences in our relationship, in our marriage, that one simple thing, minsan, hindi lang nakapagpainit ng tubig. Minsan, hindi lang na-prepare yung damit. Hindi lang nalinisan yung sapatos. Hindi lang nailagay yung damit sa hamper. Hindi lang naiayos yung tsinelas. Hindi lang nahugasan yung pinaglutuan. Those are just simple things, but why is it becoming a major issue in your relationship? Sometimes it's just a small worries. It's a little unhappiness. It's a small things of unappreciation. And there are many minor flaws. But it ruins. Kagaya nito, little foxes. Ito yung ibig sabihin nito. These little foxes, when they go to the vineyard, mga kapatid, it spoiled the vines, and he's killing the immature grapes. So nasisira yun, mga kapatid. No? So the Bible teaches us that love overcomes and covers a multitude of sin. It's in 1 Peter chapter 4. Above all things, have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Sa mag-asawa, yung mga minor flaws, huwag nyo nang palakihin. Always love, love, and love. Kung hindi na hugasan yung pinagkainan, hugasan. Kung nagluto, hindi na punasan yung kalan, punasan na lang. Huwag nang pag-awayan. Nakuha nyo? Because these little foxes can create a severe damage. Ito yung pinag-uusapan yan. Ano ibig sabihin nito, mga kapatid? Listen to me, especially sa mga mag-asawa, because I've been through this. I almost ruined our marriage. I almost gave up until I read and read and read my Bible. Ano ibig sabihin sa mag-asawa? Do not focus on the weaknesses of others, but you focus on their strength. Ano ibig sabihin? Doon sa binasa nating Song of Solomon chapter 2 verse 15, you have to beware of the little foxes. Iwasan yung mga little foxes na yan. Maging maingat kayo. Be vigilant. Because those little foxes can damage your vines. Nakuha natin? The key theme for the Song of Solomon, for the book of Song of Solomon is never let resentments, arguments, neglect, and other little foxes. Okay? Never allow that to hinder, mga kapatid, the romance and the health of the home. Huwag niyong hayaan na yung mga resentments na yan, yung mga tampuhan, samaan ng loob, at yung ibang other little foxes sa buhay ninyo, okay, ruins or destroy the romance and the health of your home. Okay? Ano ang key challenge sa atin? Ano ang key challenge sa atin? The key challenge is this. Listen to me, mga kapatid. Be a person who looks for the good in people rather than focusing on their faults and weaknesses. Yan ang challenge sa atin. Do not allow negativity to play a role in your relationships with your friends, with your loved ones, with your churchmates, at sa mga tao sa buhay natin. Be a person who always look good in people. Tandaan mo, kahit ganyan yung asawa mo, may nagagawa rin namang mabuti yan. Okay? Kahit maingay ang asawa mo, hahanap-hanapin mo rin yan. Kahit anong kulit ng asawa mo, I'll tell you this, mahal mo yan. So huwag kang mag-focus dun sa weakness niya. Mag-focus ka dun sa mga nagagawa niya sa buhay mo. Tandaan natin, mga kapatid, be a person who always look for the good in people. Beware of the little foxes. At isa pa, do not allow negativity to play a role in your relationship. Do not allow negativity in the church. Do not allow negativity in your home. Nakakasira ng pamilya yan. Nakakasira ng pamilya yan. Kaya pag may narinig ka mga negative words from negative people, sabihin nyo kaagad sa kanila, beware of little foxes. Beware of little foxes. That's how you rebuke them. What is the key verse for the book of Song of Solomon? This is our key verse. Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 7. Many waters cannot quench love, nor can the floods drown it. If a man would give for love all the wealth of his house, it would be utterly despised. Many waters cannot quench love, nor can the floods drown it. If a man would give for love all the wealth of his house, it would be utterly despised. Sabi sa Tagalog, hindi kayang patayin ng maraming tubig ang pag-ibig, ni malulunod man ito ng mga baha. Kung ihandog ng isang lalaki dahil sa pag-ibig ang lahat ng kayamanan sa kanyang buhay, iyon ay kukutsaing lubusan. Ibig sabihin, love prevails. I hope and pray na we have learned a very powerful lesson to us, especially sa mga mag-asawa. Especially yung relationship natin sa Panginoon. In our relationship sa Lord, beware of little foxes. Maraming mga tao hindi lang napansin, hindi lang nabate, hindi lang siya na-acknowledge, hindi lang siya na-appreciate, hindi na magcha-church, magtatampo na. Beware of little foxes. It can ruin and destroy the vineyard and the small grapes. Tandaan natin yan, ha? Maging matibay, always look good for other people, not focusing on their weaknesses, but focusing on their strength. You know why? Para sila, ganun din ang tingin sa'yo. Hindi naman lahat ng oras, punong-puno ka ng strength. May weaknesses ka rin. So when you focus on the strength of others, it will be a chain reaction. The others will also focus on your strength and not on your weaknesses. Tandaan ninyo, nobody's perfect. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Ako pong muli si Pastor Bong, bumabati ng isang mapagpalang Friday morning sa ating lahat. Laging tatandaan, beware of that sinful pride. Beware of that little foxes in your relationship. At wag kakalimutan, we are blessed by God. I love you all mga kapatid with the love of the Lord.